What's up, all you savages? How you doing today? We are coming to you live from TOYLANTA 2025 over here in Georgia. We have a very, very special guest with us here today. Kevin flying in all the way from Germany. Awesome having him here. Last time I got to see him was in PowerCon in Ohio a couple years back. So I'm super excited to actually get to sit here with him and talk some Savage Crucible. For those that haven't tuned in and watched episode when we went over Kevin and talked about him, he is a sculptor. He has been one of the main sculptors with MAFC. That's how I got to admire his work back in the day, doing a lot of different parts for MAFC. And he's one of the top sculptors too for Savage Crucible here, with some notations on Death Dealer, Elric, Wave 2 Barbarians. So we're going to go ahead and talk with Kevin a little bit and see, what goes inside that head of his when it comes to sculpting all this cool stuff, man. So, Kevin, what's up, man? How you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Yeah, I think so. I think, let's see. Yeah, I think we're live. Yeah, we got some people watching. So, anybody that tuned in, thank you guys. Let me switch over to the chat here and see if got anybody. Awesome, man. Junction Fast, Christian, what's up, man? Scott, how you doing? Thank you guys for tuning in. So yeah, Kevin, man, everybody's loving right now Death Dealer. I'm gonna go straight into Death Dealer because we got the pre-order open, and everybody's thinking about Death Dealer right now. So, Death Dealer, oh my God, give us a little bit of the thought process behind Death Dealer. Like, what was your creative take on, creating the character?
Yes. And I try to. I really dive deep into all his paintings, his brother's paintings, and I did it. I tried to channel.
We can see that.
Yeah.
We can totally see that.
And I'm happy. Frankie Frazetta likes it.
Yes. So so if people don't know, it's a licensed figure through the Frazetta Museum, like we've said in some other shows. So Kevin was definitely sculpting this with them in mind, and he really wanted to do it justice. So I think we got the thumbs up from Frank. So I think there it is.
Yeah, there we are.
That is the Frankie Frazetta thumb right there. You saw, folks. So, but tell us a little bit about why you chose to do the different helmets and different parts for Death Dealer.
Okay. And excuse my bad English. I try my best to find the right words. I mean, there are a lot of paintings. There are a lot of iconic pictures, but they differ from each other a little bit here and there. So I try to get the most iconic and find a way to make parts to change colors and create a bit what you have in mind. Yeah.
Let me ask you this: what was something when you were sculpting the character that you were adamant about adding on the character? Was there like a specific design, or let us know?
The most important part was really trying to get to do Frank Frazetta justice. It's not an easy task. I mean, I did try to do my best, and I'm happy with the result. And I'm really happy what Alex did on the paint job.
Yes.
Amazing. We're really lucky with the factory over in China. These guys do amazing work. And Rob giving the green light, adding the chainmail and the soft skirts and all the stuff. I mean, everything I sculpted will be included in the package. I'm very happy with that.
One thing I did notice from your renders, you had originally sculpted Death Dealer with all of the parts, correct? No soft goods. Now, was that not knowing that there would have been soft goods, or is that just something for you visually to just look at the character to kind of get the full picture?
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Nice. Well, there you got it, folks. I mean, Death Dealer, everybody's looking forward to that. I mean, I've got my orders in. Pre-orders running till May 7th, so you do have some time to come up with the best plan of action of how to get your figures. But we can switch on to another character, Elric of Melnibone. That was another whoopty doozy that you released on us there. So, did you ever read the books growing up?
Do I have to admit that I didn't read the books?
I didn't read the books either, so
I did read the graphic novels.
Yes.
So, but he's not based on the graphic novels. He's there again. I tried to channel what maybe Michael Moorcock had in mind. I read afterwards the depiction, how he was described in the books. And I looked at a lot of depictions. I mean, Michael Moorcock was very happy with it.
Yes.
He had almost nothing to say about it. I'm very happy.
That's good.
He liked it. So if the creator does give us a go, I'm very happy.
So, for those that don't know, the Elric figure is also licensed through the Moorcock estate. So that is another license figure that we have. Now, tell us a little bit about, because there's been a lot of depictions with Elric, and him not so fully clad in armor. Was that something that you yourself really wanted to depict him as wearing the armor, or was that more, kind of trying to work with what you got?
I'm happy that we choose the armor for the first release this week, because I just find it badass, full armor, but it also made it possible to use our bug system, because Eric is not a muscular, very muscular guy. He's a skinny guy, but with the armor on, our proportions are working.
Right. Yes. So, very true.
But if we do another version with bare arms, we do have to do skinnier arms and skinnier legs.
Very nice, my friend. So that possibly a version 2 of Elric. We'll see. We'll see, folks. You never know. You never know with Savage Crucible. But then also, something that we've admired from a very long time now is Wave 2 Barbarians. I think there's been a lot of people out there anticipating the Barbarians, waiting for those Barbarians. I mean, at shows that I've been, everybody raves about them. So, let's start from the beginning. What is your biggest Barbarian inspiration? I know this, but
this blonde dude.
Yeah,
of course, He-Man is number uno for me. So, it's true. No, I love. I was growing up with Masters of the Universe, was my biggest thing, and it's a big inspiration. And from there, I learned about Conan and learned about Rosetta. But it all started with Masters of the Universe, and diving deep into looking who created it, learning that Mark Taylor was the father of Masters of the Universe, learning that he wanted the package to look like Frazetta, and I use this Frazetta. I love the Battle Cat box art so much, and he said he wanted it to look like Frazetta painting. Use this Frazetta. And I looked up his paintings and was blown away.
Rabbit hole.
Yeah, rabbit hole. And I'm very glad we did do some Frazetta stuff.
Right.
It's a dream come true.
Oh, I can imagine, my friend. I can very, very well so imagine. So. Let me ask you this. Now, you're saying you grew up with He-Man, big He-Man fan. What do you recall the time where you were looking at the figure and you were interested more of the behind the scenes? Like you looked at the figure, you loved the figure, but you wanted to know more about what goes into creating that. When did you kind of notice that?
First, the Battle Cat box art was the biggest thing as a childhood that catched me, inspired me. I mean, the figure was not that good. You couldn't move the legs, but that box art you didn't need to have movable legs at that point. But diving into it was okay. You got puberty, and then you lose all your toys, and then later on you start thinking, maybe I get that again.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start diving deep into it, and it was maybe at the beginning of 2000,
Yes.
year 2000. And then I got at some point an interview with Mark Taylor
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning of 2000, and then I learned about Rosetta, and it all came together.
It all came together from there. Wow, that's awesome. So let me ask you this: is there a toy that you still have that you had from your youth, or if you don't have it, what was that one toy that was like your? This is always going to be my number one pick. Easy.
I don't have any toys anymore from my childhood. I was creative back then, but with no talent. So I destroyed them all in an attempt to create something, but it all ended up in destroyed toys.
That was the sacrifice that needed to happen for Savage Crucible to exist.
Exactly.
You know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, this was supposed to be, I guess, because then I had to get it all back and learn about it.
Mhm.
So it's my number one. I already said it. It's just He-Man. I know it's boring for some, but I just love it.
Mhm. Were you a fan at all of the 2000s version?
I, I liked them very much. I think it was great updates to the designs. I mean, if you want to do a movie, look at the 2000 designs.
Mhm.
Because we did
Right.
great work on
Right.
them. I love them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very
I
nice.
collect them also.
Yeah. Got a couple of them. You got a couple of them this weekend, I think. No. Yeah. No, yeah. Right. We don't want to give too much away there. So, wow. So, Wave Two Barbarians. Now, uh, what is your favorite thing to sculpt? Like when it comes to sculpting, what is something that you're like, man, I can't. I can never get tired of doing this ever.
The characters,
Characters.
faces, with more or less expression. I just love it. And monsters.
Monsters. Yes.
But it's also great to design armor or weapons from there and here.
And then, what is something that is still very challenging for you to sculpt? Like, I wouldn't say that you can't do it, but you always have a hard time.
Everything.
Every,
I always have a hard time starting on something.
I think that has to do because you're your own worst critic. So,
It's- Look, sometimes I look back and think, how did I do this? How was it possible? Because when I start, it's always starting like this. A little bit afraid of it,
yeah.
but you can change it in the program. You can push here and there until it reaches a point where you are happy,
Exactly.
and then it's ready. And after months, you look at it and you think, no, it's not.
So, yeah, he's being very biased too. He's excellent at what he sculpts, and he has a great source of team like Matt gives him great inspiration. And I think one of the coolest things about you is that you're not afraid to reach out and get people to not necessarily criticize you, but give their opinion on what you're doing. And you're very open to that and willing to work if you do need to fix something. So I think that's a very great aspect of you as a sculptor as a whole. Is that you're not, oh, like this is what I'm making and it is what it is, like you're willing to kind of make it to where it needs to be, so you're willing to work with that, which is great. So, yeah, what do you have to say to that?
Yeah. That's because I'm always thinking what can be better, and especially we have our great metal tool.
Yeah.
Who would I be without Matt? He's my go-to guy when I need something to know.
Yeah.
And the first Rosetta we did, the Warrior with Ball and Chain, I had a lot of help from Matt. He was going back and forth in the face. Because in the shadow you don't see the whole face, and we decided to go to depict the face how we think Rosetta might have thought about it.
Right.
We looked at other depictions of faces, even in other paintings, and I took it from there.
Nice.
It's often a back and forth between me and Matt.
Mm-hmm. And for those that don't know, Matt is also a very big Masters of the Universe fan, a very big one. So what is we could talk about this, a lot of people come to the shows and always look at that dwarf. That dwarf has been in everybody's mind, living rent-free since we pretty much launched the Kickstarter, So if you do want to talk about the dwarf a little bit, we would love to hear about that too.
Should we get Matt for it?
Yeah, we could. I mean, he's right over
He's
here.
talking.
Yeah.
Okay, the dwarf is a baby from Matt and me. We hope he will get released sooner than later, but he's now an old scar.
Yes.
So we might make it even better.
That's always the plan.
Yeah. And Rob already told me he had some great ideas. I was blown away, but I can't say anything.
I think it's funny, because we've been showing him since day one, and it's gotten to the point now where we're like, man, we want to change them up a bit, do some different things on him, because we've been looking at him all this time. And it's funny because I relayed that to Kevin, and Kevin was like, oh, no way. So he went straight to Rob to talk about fixing the dwarf. So that dwarf is still being worked on, folks. Do not fret. We will have that dwarf. And I'm waiting for this announcement to be up. There we go. Announcement over. So hopefully you could hear me through that whole thing. But dwarf is coming. Hopefully sooner than later. You heard it from Kevin here. So.
Yes.
Now, as far as some of the weapons in Wave 2, you sculpted some of those as well? Yeah. And then as far as inspiration with that, do you like doing more fantasy-based? Do you like to add some historic, when it comes to weapons or armor, anything like that?
Both. So some are very historically based, like I did rapier, and just recently it's coming with
Materus Replics.
And a Viking sword, Celtic sword. But on Wave 2 there are a lot of more fantasy, but I try to use it in a way that makes sense. You wouldn't hurt yourself.
You would.
So,
or then I'm like, okay.
You can keep going. Yeah. I'm just looking to see if there's any comments.
Maybe Nashorn. You call it Nashorn.
Yeah, give us the correct pronunciation on that.
No, it's all right. It's Nashorn.
Is it Nashorn? Okay.
Because in German it would be rhino.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Hopefully we get to be a rhino, some kind of rhino.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah, he was inspired by a lot of stuff from ancient Rome, Greek,
Yes.
but also some elements from Germanic history. It's all going into this.
Right.
But it's also fantasy, so I changed it up to make it look different.
Yeah.
So there I'm really influenced by 17th
Well, and it's nice too because you can definitely see the influence from historic artifacts like that, and then just adding that whole fantasy aspect on top of it, just chef's kiss on that one. So, what is your most anticipated figure from Wave 2?
It's Krieger because it was the first figure I sculpted for us.
That was the first one you worked on.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's my little baby.
Krieger.
I want to play with him.
Yeah. So what? So other than the fact that he was one of the first ones you worked on, tell us a little bit about the whole design on him. Because he's very unique in the sense of what everything else comes in the wave. Everything else looks a little, I guess you could say, cleaner, not so ragtag. So give us a little bit of info of what were you thinking of when creating him?
Yeah, he's a guy who's traveling, picking stuff up here and there, killing stuff here and there. I mean, you see on his cauldron some animal, fantasy animal skull, and yeah, the idea was to make the ultimate barbarian man. Yeah.
Well, definitely one of the characters that I'm looking forward to as well. So, oh, and I had a feeling that might happen if there's too much background noise. I thought we might have died it out because we waited for it to be a little quieter. But do apologize, folks, if you can't hear us quite well. We might be able to do another live. You know, we really wanted to come live to you guys from the floor, and especially since we had Kevin here all the way from Germany. So I do apologize if you guys can't hear us too clearly. We'll try and redo something else at a later time if that's the case. So
We can dub it in German.
yeah, you heard it, folks. It might be a little easier to understand for some. Yeah. So what is without giving too much away, and hopefully they can still hear. What is something that you guys or you are working on in the future? Without giving too much detail, you can hint.
We can hint. Scales.
Vague answer, and I love it. So you heard it from the sculptor himself, folks. Awesome. So there's definitely a lot more cool shit that Kevin's working on, will be working on. We honestly can't wait, and I think I speak for all the savages out there when I say that we love the work that you've done for the line so far, and just keep it going, my friend. You know, we are ecstatic. Working with you too is a pleasure. Talking with you and getting to know Kevin and seeing the whole thought process of what goes into figures is great. So, is there anything that you have in closing you want to tell people, or?
I mean, I'm just happy I can do this work, and thank you everybody for supporting us.
Well, thank you, Kevin. Thank you for doing this with us. I know it wasn't easy for you with the language barrier a little bit, but you still pulled through, man. So I appreciate that. And to all the savages that tuned in live for this, I do greatly appreciate you guys, even though you probably couldn't hear us the whole time. But with that being said, we'll be working on some more stuff. We'll have some other episodes coming up too. We'll be sitting down with some other guys, and hopefully we can arrange something with Kevin that is a little more clear and understanding if this wasn't that great. So from the TOYLANTA show floor, Savage Crucible bids you guys a good afternoon, and we'll talk with you guys later.
See you.